Yes, Charleston White is correct. I'm a rapper, not a dealer. Be sure to catch my new show, 50 Cent, 50 Ways to Catch a Killer.
I see that Meech Home concert got the streets talking. The biggest Meech Home, the streets back. That's what I'm talking about. That's how real niggas come home and get it down. 50, who own your masters? Who own your masters? I buy your masters. You better. I will buy your masters.
50 Cent just lit up the internet after clowning Big Meech over fresh news that Rick Ross allegedly finessed him out of a jaw-dropping $120 million deal. The story spread fast, and fans couldn't believe the numbers being thrown around. Ross had been...
So look, I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small-budget series. Now it's time to do a big-budget film. Which director? Shout out to my homie, F. Gary Gray, Antoine Foucault, what's up? Tarantino, there's a lot of legends. This is gonna be big, I can feel it.
Talking big, blockbuster films, major projects, game-changing opportunities. But according to the reports, what he actually delivered was a whole lot of nothing. And for 50, that was all he needed to throw shade. He didn't waste a second before jumping online and roasting the situation. You already know how 50 moves. If there's a chance to call somebody out, he's going to take it and make sure the whole world sees it. And this time, the target wasn't just Ross, it was also Meech, with 50 making it clear he wasn't impressed by the so-called business deal. Fans immediately started connecting the dots, wondering how something so massive could fall apart so badly. A $120 million bag doesn't just vanish. Somebody has to be accountable. And with Ross's name in the middle of it, the jokes practically wrote themselves. But with 50 Cent adding fuel to the fire, the whole situation became bigger than just business. It turned into pure internet theater. Now Meech is sitting in a hot seat, looking broke in the public eye, while 50 Cent keeps flipping his name into a non-stop punchline.
Hey, you understand that? We'll do that after. Okay. All right? Just turn around for me. Be cooperative. Everything's video and audio surveillance. Plus, I'm on body cam. You understand that? So okay.
Fans can't get enough of it. The clowning has gotten so heavy that people are joking the only way this saga ends is with Meech squaring up against 50 in the boxing ring. And all of it goes back to one decision. Meech believing that life after the streets meant lining up for a flashy comeback. That's when Rick Ross slid into the picture with promises that sounded too good to be true. We're talking a $120 million film deal, massive projects, the works, like he was about to resurrect Meech's legacy on the biggest stage possible. There's even a clip making the rounds where Ross loudly bragged about those promises, and on paper, it really looked like Meech was about to cash in on his legendary name. But the reality? Ross never spent a single dime. Not one. Instead, he used Meech's name like a prop, hijacking the legacy just to throw shade at his longtime rival, 50 Cent. While Ross was out here selling pipe dreams and flexing for clout, it was 50 who actually came through with the real investment. He bankrolled the BMF show, paid for Lil Meech's acting lessons, and gave him the spotlight that Ross only pretended to provide. Now Meech is sitting in a hot seat, looking broke in the public eye, while 50 Cent keeps flipping his name into a non-stop punchline. Fans can't get enough of it. The clowning has gotten so heavy that people are joking the only way this saga ends is with Meech squaring up against 50 in the boxing ring. And all of it goes back to one decision. Meech believing that life after the streets meant lining up for a flashy comeback. That's when Rick Ross slid into the picture with promises that sounded too good to be true. We're talking a $120 million film deal, massive projects, the works, like he was about to resurrect Meech's legacy on the biggest stage possible. There's even a clip making the rounds where Ross loudly bragged about those promises, and on paper, it really looked like Meech was about to cash in on his legendary name. But the reality? Ross never spent a single dime. Not one. Instead, he used Meech's name like a prop, hijacking the legacy just to throw shade at his longtime rival, 50 Cent. While Ross was out here selling pipe dreams and flexing for clout, it was 50 who actually came through with the real investment. He bankrolled the BMF show, paid for Lil Meech's acting lessons, and gave him the spotlight that Ross only pretended to provide. And it ain't just 50 doing the bragging either. Tony Yayo came out backing him up, waving around receipts that showed 5-0 was the one moving with real money, while Ross was just talking. Now reports say Big Meech is frustrated, strapped for cash, and realizing Ross only linked with him as a petty jab at 50. That's a humiliating spot to be in. Instead of leveling up, Meech is stuck looking like a pawn in somebody else's beef. But the mess didn't stop there. Once Meech's son got spotted hanging with Ross in the club, everything spun out of control. This was just days after those leaked texts where Lil Meech allegedly said, F Ross. Next thing you know, he's on camera vibing with him, whispering in his ear, cheesing for photos, glowing under red lights like a movie scene. The clip went viral in seconds, and the internet didn't know what to believe, of course. 50 Cent wasn't letting that slide. He pulled straight from his troll playbook and cracked a brutal joke, saying Ross probably told Lil Meech to hand over his dad's address so he could send some Wingstop wings. Imagine your family drama getting turned into a fast food punchline. Savage doesn't even cover it. But here's the twist. That wings jab wasn't just comedy. It was coded. 50 was saying Ross wasn't feeding Meech success, only tossing him scraps. And just when fans thought it couldn't get pettier, 50 revealed something that shook people to their core. Out of nowhere, he claimed in a now-deleted post that he personally had to send Lil Meech to rehab. According to him, Meech was showing up to set high, even puking during a weapons test because he was lit. Then they allegedly found whippets in his truck, and 50 admitted he had to Google what they even were. He painted himself as a responsible big brother, while Ross hyped up the same reckless behavior. IT didn't stop there either. Lil Meech ended up arrested in an airport, and the chaos kept stacking. So when 50 aired it all out, fans flooded the internet asking, did 50 actually save Lil Meech's career from burning out? And if that's true, why is Meech siding with Ross now? That's when Michael Rainey Jr., yep, Tard from Power, jumped into the mix. On Live, a fan asked if he felt bad for Lil Meech, and his answer went savage mode. No sympathy, no filter. That clip spread like wildfire, and who reposted with a laugh? None other than 50 Cent himself. He echoed Michael's words in his caption, making it clear he stood behind his Power star 100%. That move doubled down on the Meech-looking weak narrative, and the timing couldn't have been worse. Suddenly, it looked like Meech was losing respect not just from fans, but from everybody in 50's circle. And the streets took notice. Truth is, this tension had been brewing since the failure of Big Meech's so-called Welcome Back concert. When he first came home, people expected fireworks, a historic event stacked with legends. But instead of teaming with 50, the man who turned his story into a TV empire, Meech leaned on Ross to push it. There's even a clip of them hyping the concert like it was going to be iconic. But the whole thing flopped. It never even happened. For 50, that was the last straw. He accused Meech of cutting secret deals with the feds and blasted him online. He even dropped a cold message saying, I wasn't going to address this because I'm not about to let nobody trick me off the streets. But I never folded, never told, never will. And with those words, 50 made it clear, this beef is way deeper than rap, money, or clout. Death before dishonor. That was always Meech's motto. But now, fans who once crowned him a street legend have started questioning everything. Pairing up with Rick Ross only made the optics worse. To the public, it looked like Meech traded loyalty for clout. And 50, being the master troll that he is, spun that story until people believed it as fact. Instead of a legendary comeback, Meech's welcome back moment became the exact time people stopped writing for him. That's when Meech decided to fire back. He posted an old pic of himself with 50, but slapped a massive rat emoji right over 50's face. No subtlety, no filter. He was flat out calling 50 a snitch. Then he doubled down, labeling 50 an internet gangster, basically saying all he does is troll behind a phone screen. Ross, of course, piled on too, mocking 50 for being salty about their link-up. To fans, it looked like a tag team move, Ross co-signing Meech just to poke the bear even harder. There's even a clip of Ross straight-up clowning 50 for hating on him standing next to Meech. But here's the wild part. While 50 gave Lil Meech real opportunities, like acting roles in a TV platform. Ross only provided photo ops and club nights. Yet Meech seemed way more eager to ride with Ross. That contradiction fueled the fire, and soon rumors exploded that Meech wasn't just trolling anymore. Word online was that Meech wanted to fight 50 for real. The rap post, the club link-up, Ross trolling. It created so much noise that fans became convinced a boxing match between 50 and Meech was about to happen. Some people even said it was sad. Big Meech reduced to celebrity boxing talk just to feel validated. But what really lit the fuse was Meech himself. When asked if he'd swing back, he hinted he'd lace up the gloves if it came down to it. Even if it was half a joke, the internet ran with it like breaking news. And just as the boxing chatter peaked, Wack 100 jumped to a theory that flipped everything. According to Wack, this wasn't just about loyalty or Ross. It was about secrets. He claimed Meech's close confidant, Tammy Cowens, once told 50 that Meech had actually worked with federal authorities on other street cases. In other words, Wack was hinting that Meech wasn't as loyal to the code as people believed. And that's where 50's snitch narrative really came from. But Wack didn't stop there. He suggested Tammy might have had her own reasons for flipping sides. Maybe she felt abandoned when Meech got locked up, or maybe she was tired of him trying to claw back the life rights he already signed over to 50 for the BMF series. Either way, it put Meech in a dangerous corner. Because if true, it meant someone closest to him might have been secretly feeding 50 the ammo he's been using to clown him for years. Point when the wildest moments came right after, when Big Meech popped out rocking Kanye West's iconic graduation jacket. On the surface, it looked like just a flashy throwback fit. But fans instantly caught the symbolism. That's the same album that famously outsold 50 back in their 2007 sales battle. Some laughed it off as coincidence. Others swore Meech wore it on purpose, poking at his old ally. Either way, it came across as another jab at 50, but what stood out most wasn't what Meech did. It was what 50 didn't do. Normally, he'd be the first one to roast a goofy outfit or screenshot a pose for the world to laugh at. But this time, silence. And that silence had people convinced he was holding back on purpose, saving ammo for a knockout shot. Because when 50 skips a roast, it usually means he's plotting something bigger. And with this feud, every silence feels louder than words. To be why now, it's obvious this isn't just trolling anymore. 50 is locked in on Meech like it's personal. Most beefs fade with time, but this one, every move Meech makes gets a clapback. Some say it's betrayal. That 50 gave Lil Meech a platform only to watch him run off with Ross. Others say it's about power. Because 50 doesn't just want to win, he wants to crush anyone bold enough to cross him. Letting Meech slide would make him look weak. And that's not in 50's DNA as if this ever moves from Instagram shade to an actual boxing ring. It won't be for fun. It'll be the final chapter in a feud that's already spiraled way past control. One man fighting to protect his legacy, the other trying to tear it down for laughs. And with the way things are going, it's starting to look less like a rumor and more like the inevitable next move. What do you think? Is this feud headed for gloves in the ring? Or will 50 shut Meech down before it gets that far? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video.